शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्वी नावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Namaste everybody. So once again we are here today. Today is the third class, Introduction to Vedanta through Tattvabodha. Hope all of you can hear me properly. Okay. There is a way in which if you want to see my picture on your screen or my image on your screen, you can just click on my picture and you can pin the video. Or another way to do it is to choose active speaker view from the top right corner on the PC. There is something called speaker view. So if you do that, they tell me that whoever is speaking, that person's image will be shown, they say. So you have two options. You choose whatever works for you. I'm choosing gallery view so I can see all of you. Okay, so anytime if there is an audio or a video problem, especially audio problem, please signal it to me through a chat or through a sign. So if you recall, last class we started looking into this life of an animal and tried to compare it to that of a human being. Sometimes a contrast like that helps us appreciate our own life. So when we tell our children, we sometimes, in order to highlight an aspect or a value, such as eating healthy food, then you say, look at that person, look at how healthy he or she is. Don't you want to be like that? So like that we say. So that's why in this case, uniquely we are trying to compare ourselves to animals to see that we are really blessed with certain qualities, and then see what is unique to us. So we saw that buddhi. We saw before that. We saw that two kinds of maturity for the purposes of our discussion. Physical maturity happens automatically. No animal has to do anything. No human being has to do anything other than just survive. And as long as we survive, we will automatically, the body just grows to whatever it eventually becomes, and the body becomes an adult. And we say the person is an adult. And then we have other words like middle-aged and all that, but that's based on age. It's not necessarily based on physical maturity. And then senior citizen, etc. We have all these words. But once the person is an adult, the person is essentially capable of doing things, or at least the person's body is essentially capable of doing things that every human being can do. That is physical maturity. Then we said that there is something called emotional maturity. So we said there are all these attributes. I can be aggressive or I can be sensitive. So like this, we talked about various attributes. And then we recognize that there is always room for the human being to grow up. And they say in America, grow up. I heard this phrase, grow up. Nobody said in India, I have never heard grow up. But when adults are talking, sometimes, hey, grow up, man, they will say. So grow up means what? Not physically grow up. Hey, you lack something. Figure out what that is, and you better improve yourself. That is what it means. So that growing up is what is emotional growing up. But unfortunately, unlike physical maturity, which happens automatically, this emotional growth does not happen automatically. So we saw that it requires some self-introspection, self-assessment. And again, unfortunately, not every school and college teaches these things, which apparently happens to become very important in our life. So the schools and colleges teach us how to survive in this world, how to create a profession, but they don't seem to teach us how to become emotionally mature. I'm greedy. I don't want to be greedy. Nobody wants to be greedy, but they end up being greedy, looking for things at every little situation. How can I benefit from that? But if you ask me if I say, no, I don't want to be greedy, I don't want to be angry, what do I do? Then that is where perhaps there are all these, perhaps we learn by observing from others, perhaps we learn from just observing ourselves. So there are various ways to do that. But generally we are not taught these things. So in Shastram it becomes very important. Emotional maturity becomes important. In fact, it becomes a prerequisite, so to speak, prerequisite for understanding this vast Shastra. That is why they say one may be a scholar, one may have studied our Upanishads, one may have studied Bhagavad Gita, may have studied the Puranas, but the fellow at home is shouting at everybody, and wife, children, everybody is there, and he is just screaming left and right. But he gives good upanyasas. And somebody will tell him, hey, what is the use of all this you have studied? They will say that. You are useless for in this family. You don't know how to relate to people, and you are talking big, big things. They will say that. So that shows that value is so important. That value of being mature, being sensitive, being compassionate, being understanding, being not hurtful, not cheating, all these things are important values. We all know that. So, emotional maturity, we talked about, it requires initiative. It, in a human being, it does not happen automatically. So, that is one thing we realized. Probably we've realized in our life, but it is important to recognize it. Without recognizing the need for me to mature, it is not possible to mature also. So we saw that, and we said this human being has so many opinions about himself or herself. I can say I am an accomplished person. I can say I am no good. I can say I worked for all these years, but I am no good. Or I can say I am not respected. I am not understood. Or I can say I am compassionate. I am happy. I am sad. Look at all these words. All these words, when I say about myself, they are all some judgment about myself. Say judgment. When I say I am accomplished, I am referring to certain degrees I have. I'm referring to certain products I invented. I'm referring to certain things I've done. Okay. But then next moment I say I am sad. So I am sad means what? You're not accomplished? No, no, I am accomplished and I am sad. Okay. Then next moment I say I am elated. Then next moment I say I am depressed. Then I say I am frustrated. So a state of mind, frustration. I say I am frustrated. So these kinds of judgments are there, which distinguishes the human being from the animal. No animal, no dog has told its owner, "Hey, Swami, Master, I am frustrated with you. You're constantly shouting at me. How much I have done for you? You come from office, I'm wagging my tail and standing outside. I even run all the way to the bus stand and I come along with you. Who is doing all this? Is your wife doing this? I'm doing this. And you're still kicking me, you're shouting at me. I'm so frustrated being in this house." No dog says that, no pet says that, no animal says anything like this. So, this human being, which has been or who has been endowed with the capability, the buddhi we said, buddhiri tesham adhiko visheshaha, dharmo hi tesham adhiko visheshaha. We saw that. That faculty which distinguishes the human being from the animal also makes this human being self-judgmental. And this self-judgment itself is a cause of various complexities, various problems in a human life. If we start analyzing this, the whole medical field, psychology, everything comes into play. The child is crying. The child is crying because its balloon burst. And the father or the mother comes and says, "Hey, what's happened?" "Oh, father, dad, my balloons burst. I want another balloon." Look, they all have balloons, they are playing, and so the child is just crying. It cannot stand that the balloon has burst. The father says, "Hey, don't worry, Vikram. Balloons will burst. Balloons will inflate, it will burst. We shouldn't worry about all this. We can get another balloon. You don't worry about it." So father quietly says, "Don't worry about it." For the child, it's a very big thing. So now years pass, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years have passed. Or maybe 20 years have passed, that is better. Child is in college. Now he's almost an adult. And he sees the father just like this. Father is so sad. And he asks father, "Dad, what happened?" Father says, "Stock market crashed." So the son says, "So what?" Father says, "What do you mean, so what? I've lost lakhs of rupees." In the US, he might say, "I've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars, billions of dollars I've lost." The son says, "Dad, you said anything that inflates will also deflate. Long ago, I remember you taught me. And this stock also, it seems to inflate. And anything that inflates has to deflate. And this time it burst. So, now why worry about it? How can you worry about that?" And the father looks at the son, doesn't know what to say. So, the same accomplished person is now depressed. So, our life seems to go on like this. And so, this self judgment is there. And so, we come to a point where, last class we said, the question arises in our minds or in some people's minds: what am I really seeking? What am I really seeking? And the Shastram, typically Vedanta, starts with this topic of human goals. Some people may say, "Why worry about all this? Why worry about what? What are you seeking and all? Hey, you're created. You're given all these things. Just enjoy it." Yeah, just enjoy it, you can say. But sometimes the question arises. We will see shortly why those questions arise. When I was looking for a job after my master's, PhD and all, they were telling me, "You must study you must know how to." I never attended an interview before for a job. So I realized I was a bit, I didn't know what an interview will look like. Never been to a company or a university. I was looking for a professor's job also those days. And so, especially PhD means what they will do is, in my industry, chemical industry, they will invite you for an interview. You have to give a presentation, and there are about 10 people who will interview you. One fellow will interview, then after half an hour, he will take you to another lady's room, and she will talk to you. She is the director. Then she will take you to another person. He is the manager of the research department where I have applied. So like this whole day, there will be a lot of dialogues. So somebody said, there are some, if you don't know how to, if you never had the experience of an interview, it's good to learn how this thing. So I started studying a little bit, and they talked about what is called a stress interview. Have you all heard of a stress interview? Anybody? Yeah, yeah, exactly. Stress interview. And what is the stress interview? Already the word interview itself creates stress in us. Now, on top of that, they say stress interview. This is confusing. So, the questions in a stress interview are like this. I learned that later on. They will say, describe yourself. Describe yourself? Yeah, I can describe myself. I was born in a village near Kumbakonam, 6 kilometers from Kumbakonam, so in a very religious family. It was a nice day that day, but those days there were no hospitals in that village or even close to the city. So the midwife delivered me. In fact, I visited the village. Every summer I go there and I have played. I know where I was born. In this bench, they will call it benchy. In our home, they will say benchy. Benchy lo ukanduko, they will say. So in this benchy, I was born. And then I grew up and my parents went to Hyderabad and Bombay and all that. And I studied here and I went to college there. I have a lot of friends from college, from even school I have friends. If I say like this, to this question, describe yourself, I think all of you will agree that the person is about ready to give his visiting card or business card and say, thank you very much for coming. We will get back to you. So describe yourself. So stress question. So I had to learn when they ask you like that, what should I say? So they are not interested in hearing about your race, your gotram. They are not interested about how many children you have, how compassionate you are, how much seva you are doing. All this they are not interested. You tell me about what all you have accomplished professionally and how that is going to help this employer. That is what they are looking for. The similar questions they used to ask. I remember this question. Tell me about a habit which you wish you did not have. What kind of question is this? Tell me about a habit which you wish you did not have. A very dangerous question. Whatever you say can work against you. What will you say? And yet you can't say I don't have any bad habits. Also you can't say, because there is no person who does not have any habits which are not desirable. And yet you have to say something. So what it made us do those days is, it made us figure out, look at ourselves. Hey, what bad habits I have? I have to think. I get up, I find it difficult to get up in the morning. Can I say that? Or I procrastinate everything till the last minute. Can I say that in this interview? I don't know. I have to think about it. And so those questions made us think about ourselves a little bit. They will say, what do you want to be in 5 years, Dr. Jayakumar? What do you want to be in 5 years? I want to earn some money. I want to get my sister married. I want to buy a better house for my parents. I want to serve some people in India. I say all this. That's not what they are looking for. Again, professionally, what do you want to be? What are your aspirations? Will this company help you get there? Do you want to be a manager? Do you want to do research on some products? There are certain molecules I've thought about which can help, and not much research has been done on those molecules. Within 5 years, I want to establish and create that drug. Suppose I say that, then okay, the employer thinks that you are really motivated and this guy can really help my company, my department. So those questions made us think about ourselves. So in a way, we are asking the same question in Vedanta, I suppose. We don't call them stress questions. We don't call this inquiry a stress inquiry. Hopefully this inquiry will alleviate some of the stresses we have. So we are asking the question, what are the goals of the human being? So this phrase, Purushaartha, is used. Purushaartha. Last time there was a question, why don't we use the word Manushya instead of Purusha? Purusha here means human being. And so yeah, Purusha means human being here. They use the word Purusha. It can as well be Manushyarthaha. Same meaning, Manushyarthaha. It is not Pashavarthaha. It is not animal goals, because animals do not have goals. At least from what we see and experience, they don't seem to have any goals per se. As long as the animal is mature and able to reproduce, it's an adult, and then it leads a life and it passes on. Artha has many meanings. One of the meanings of the word Artha is meaning, right? Meaning is the meaning of the word Artha. But that is not the meaning of the word Artha in this word Purushaartha. Here Artha means goal. What is one seeking? What is one after? That is the meaning of the word Artha in this phrase Purushaartha. Goal of a human being. Purushartha has other meanings also. It can mean free will. It can mean effort. It can mean choice. So they will say, use your Purushartha, they will say, to accomplish this task. Means, come on, make an effort. Think. Yeah, you have to study. You want to get a master's? Yeah, use your Purushartha. Look for colleges. Look for universities. Do some research. So you can get into the right college. Use your Purushartha. We all do that. Parents do that to help their children to get to the college. So effort, using the free will, which again is unique to the human being. So now we have introduced another word, free will, choice, which are unique to human beings. Amazing. Self-consciousness, free will, choice. All these things, three things, almost interchangeable, unique to the human being. And as a package deal, you have self-judgment also. We saw that. So, Purushartha goals, and in that, the first Purushartha typically is Artha. Artha is the first Purushartha. Now, here Artha does not mean goal. Now there is another meaning for the word Artha. Artha means security. Security. Artha has another meaning. In Tamil, when they say Artha, Artha irka அப்படின்னு கேட்பா. Artha irka அப்படின்னு கேட்பா. So do you have any money? What can you give? Or what are you getting? Salary. Artham. So that is the meaning here also. Artha. Whatever gives a human being security is called Artha. Financial security, economic security, very important for every human being, because there are certain things that are needed to live. Roti, kapada, makan is there. So for that, there is financial security needed. That is very clear. Whether it is simple dwelling or even more advanced these days, real estate, one house, two houses, bungalows, stocks. Those days there was no stock. The only stock I saw was outside the house. They used to have this. They used to call it vekka por. They used to call mill. All these grains they used to keep, and big. Yeah. So Mary said silo. So silos, outside the homes they used to have silos. So that is the only stock I could see those days. I remember seeing. They never used to sit on a computer all day and trade. So all complex ways of earning that security, financial security. Very important. We all are very clear about that. And for some people, no amount of wealth seems to be enough. And some people are quite satisfied with whatever they have. Some people are satisfied with what they have and yet blessed with a lot of Aishwaryam, lot of Lakshmi Kataksham, they say. So all that happens. But bottom line is, I want financial security. Even the poorest person wants financial security. No doubt about that. Then there is security, emotional security. So I have a family. I have friends, and emotionally, I want to be understood. So when I talk to a friend, then, or when I talk to my mother or son or daughter or wife or relatives, I get some security. Obviously, I get some security. I feel good. I feel very secure in this environment. And they say a human being is a social animal. They say. I vaguely remember hearing it long ago. Social animal. So social animal. In groups, we like to live. Our family structures are very complicated. Very complicated means very, very advanced. Our relationships, if you look, it goes for generations. They use words in Sanskrit and other Indian languages. We have words which refer to relationships, mother's side relationships, father's side relationships. They'll say dayadi. So relationships, these words are all that it shows how important these relationships are for us. Emotionally, the mother takes care of the child and the child feels secure. When a pair of hands holds the child, this is all the child wants. It doesn't know anything, the newly born child. It just needs a warm pair of hands. And that gives it security. It is happy. It is calm. And the mother is tapping on the baby. And the baby becomes calm. it feels secure, and it goes to sleep. So emotional security, we all need that. And it is the same relationships which can hurt us also. The fact that those hurt us shows how much we depend on that kind of security. One word is enough to hurt somebody. And it is so difficult to say sorry also. But at the same time, one sorry is enough. One sorry is enough for 20 years of ill will to just break down completely. One hug is enough. And all the past is forgotten. So amazing. This is very amazing. So emotional security. Also Artha. Remember Artha. And so different people seek Artha in different ways. Some people are willing to give up what they've earned also. So there seems to be that kind of security also. Security where when I help people, I feel more secure. Amazing, is it not? Only a human being can do that. In one of those animal shows, National Geographic, I remember long ago, I saw a group of elephants were slowly walking like this. Elephants always walk slowly. I've not seen a running elephant except occasionally when it feels insecure, it runs, I suppose. But they were all walking and they crossed. Then they stopped. Then one elephant looked back like this, and it saw a turtle. It saw a turtle that was inverted. An inverted turtle is a helpless turtle. An inverted turtle can simply die if something is not done. It cannot turn on itself like this. So this elephant goes back and taps on this turtle like this and makes the turtle come up like this on its forelegs. So even this elephant has something in it. It says, somebody needs help and I am capable of helping. So human beings have a lot of that, and helping others is a very important thing for human beings. We all do seva. And that is why this guy, human being, who is a single, who's gone to college and who leads a life, and nobody asks him any questions, and even if somebody asks him questions, he doesn't respond. And he leads a life just as though he is the king of this world. And they say, the time has come to get married. So I suppose there is a good thing in marriage. Because now, when two people are married, this guy who is otherwise leading a life that nobody knows where he is going, where he is coming, now this fellow has to take care of another person. And then the giving and sharing starts. So obviously this ashrama vivaha has a very beautiful significance. Lots of significance. But the sharing starts at home. Even before marriage, of course, sharing has started. Brother, sister, father, mother, friends, we do all the sharing and giving. But marriage extends that, and it can go beyond to the community, to the village, to the city, etc., to the whole world. Look at how our Narendra Modi ji is doing seva, which is absolutely inspiring, is it not? So he gets security by helping others. He obviously gets security. There is some joy. Perhaps we should now talk about another Purushaartha. Artha is security. Then there is Kaama. Kama. Kama is pleasure. Simply translated, pleasure. Pleasure. The fan is on right now. Some of you may be able to hear the fan also because this thing mics are all so good. They are picking up all kinds of small noises also. And sometimes I have to turn off this fan so the audio is okay. So the fan is on. Why the fan is on? Because without the fan there is some discomfort. It's a bit warm or it is hot. And that causes discomfort. So Kaama. Turning on the fan, Kaama. Don't think Kama means something big. Don't think Kama Sutra and all those days they used to talk about Kama Sutra and all. No, all that Kama is, we are not, that also is Kama. But ice cream, let's all go tonight and have some ice cream. Family, friends have come all the way from Kashmir, where some good things are happening for the last 2-3 days. And from Kashmir they have come. Let's all go to ice cream, have some ice cream. So, Kama. Simple. Take 1 spoon of ice cream and put it in the mouth. It is hard to see a human being who says no to ice cream. Kama. So, this senses, where senses come. Last time there was a question about sense organs. And was there any connection between that and the human life, etc. So, these sense organs, 5 sense organs, whatever we experience through those 5 sense organs, that is what we call Kama. Anything that we experience through our senses and we stop with that experience, we seek that experience, then that what we seek is called a Kama. The experience is also called Kama. What I am seeking, the object I am seeking, whether it is a gulab jamun or an ice cream, or whether I want to go out for a walk because the weather is so good, or whether I turn on the AC, or whether I want to see a movie also, or whether I go for a vacation. Let's all go for a vacation this coming summer or December. We have to book in advance. Let's all go someplace. And so these days, this vacation is a very big thing. You can go to the next city. You can go to the next state. You can go to the other corner of the state, from Tamil Nadu, from Delhi. You can go to Kanyakumari, or you can go from India to Sri Lanka, or you can go from India to Singapore. अरे एक हफ्ता सिंगापुर जाएंगे. It has been my dream. Everybody seems to go to Singapore. It's not far away, only 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, something like that. We have a little bit of money we can spend. Remember economic security, Artha. I work so hard. I've been putting money in the bank every month and I've saved it. Now I want to spend that same hard-earned money. Can you believe that? On this trip to Singapore. Yeah, you're going to spend lakhs of rupees on this. 1.5 lakhs, 2 lakhs, who knows? Chalega, I think I'm willing to spend. I think our family deserves the trip to Singapore. Yeah, see, which category will you put this in? It can't be Artha, obviously. It is Kaama. Some joy in going together to some place. So Kaama. Not sensory pleasure. Here it is not sensory pleasure. Okay? Sensory pleasure, we are very familiar with. So here it can be some other kind of an emotional pleasure is there, perhaps. And some of the things we do there can come under Kama. We go to an amusement park. We go to this Disney World. We go to this circus. So there is some Kama, sensory pleasure involved there. Jumping from the top and going on these slides. They have all this. They have invented this whole entertainment industry. It's all coming under the category of what? Of Kama only. Kama. So very, very sophisticated ways. And if you analyze this entertainment industry carefully, see, they have all these rights. Those days they used to have this giant wheel. Giant wheel, everybody wants to go. Everybody wants to go to get scared. I don't know why everybody wants to go and get scared. But there's a joy in paying money and getting scared. See, getting scared by looking at a snake, nobody wants to get scared like that. But getting scared on top of the giant wheel is a different experience. I'm willing to pay money for that. So giant wheel, then they have modern things. They have all these rides that take you like this, round and round like this. And that is thrilling, very thrilling. Then sometimes it shakes also. You know, they will have to shake this thing. There are times that they have to make it, amplify that experience, shake it. Then that is not enough. Then they will take you through some tunnels like thing. Suddenly it becomes dark. So visually exciting, sense of touch, that also is exciting. Sounds, create some sounds in between. All that. So multiple senses they try to titillate. The entertainment industry is not an ordinary industry. I'm sure there are a lot of PhDs working on this. So Kama, all that comes under the category of Kama. Artha, Kama. Security, pleasure, if you want to simply say it. So we are all familiar with all this. But the Shastram categorizes that what we are seeking into Artha, Kama. Then there is an important Purushaartha called Dharma. Dharma. We already saw that Dharma, if you say right and wrong, simply translating Dharma is right wrong. It is already unique to human beings. Animals don't have Dharma. Animals don't have right and wrong because they are not self-conscious. They don't have free will. They don't have, therefore, choice. They don't have any self-judgment. They don't have Dharma. Dharma is not there. If I knocked on somebody's door and somebody comes out and he says, oh, I'm sorry, I disturbed you, you were meditating. So I can feel I disturbed him. He might have got disturbed. So I feel I may have done something wrong. So that idea of right wrong is there in my mind, in a human being's mind, to say I'm sorry. Or did I disturb you? But the dog is also there, sitting, roaming around in the house. This fellow is meditating. And suddenly the dog barks. No dog comes to the master and says, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were meditating. And the dog is guilty now because It is now the third time he has barked. There is no guilty doubt. But I can be guilty of so many things in life. Why guilt? Because this idea of right and wrong, dharma is there. I did not help somebody when they needed help. I said somebody that hurt somebody a lot. So I am guilty of that. So I can be guilty of so many things. So dharma, right and wrong, is a very important thing for a human being. And even though I know what might be right, I may be unable to do what is right. So lying, cheating, deceiving, stealing, all these things happen. You ask the fellow who has come to rob the bank, he closes the mouth like this. And he says, give me the keys. Why does he close the mouth? Because he knows what he's doing is wrong. And he himself, he knows he's going to get caught. And he doesn't want to be caught. So it's very clear. He knows what he's doing is wrong. That's why he comes with all these instruments. He comes with guns and knives and people. So, just because I don't follow dharma does not mean I don't know what dharma is. That knowledge of dharma is there in all of us, right now. Fortunately, very fortunate, because see, if I don't know, see, I am crossing the road. Everybody knows they shouldn't get hurt. Okay, everybody knows. Suppose some people didn't know that they shouldn't get hurt. Imagine how life would be. Simply they will be crossing the road. Simply they will be hurting themselves, dropping things on their feet. Simply cutting their fingers when they are cutting vegetables. We don't see that kind of a human being who doesn't know that getting hurt is not desirable. Hurting others. Not only do I know I should not get hurt, I also know that nobody else in this world, others also don't want to get hurt. So this knowledge is very clear, given to us. So that is dharma, right, wrong. And dharma can mean other things also. Dharma also means quality. Another meaning of word dharma. We are not talking about that dharma here. Dharma of fire is heat. Dharma of water is colorlessness, is flowing. Property of water is to flow from a higher elevation to lower elevation. This is the property of water or any liquid. So that's called dharma also. But we are not talking about the dharma. Right, wrong, and also a sense of harmony. So I have not cleaned my apartment in 2 weeks, and things have accumulated. Books are stacked up. Dust is there on the table, and the bed has not really been cleaned properly. So one morning I decide enough is enough, and I just clean the whole place up. Half an hour later, I look at my house, my home, and there is some joy. There is some joy. You look at it and say, this looks good. Now, is it Artha? Security? Don't seem to get much security from this. Is it Kaama? Some sensory pleasure? There is no sensory pleasure apparently. So it can only be dharma. Something had to be done. Therefore, we put it in the category of dharma. In America, I remember. In India, we wash clothes every day. I mean, those who don't have washing machine. I don't have a washing machine. So either I wash the clothes or somebody comes and washes it. But those who have washing machine these days in India also very popular. In America, I remember, you toss all these clothes somewhere in one big bucket. Keep on tossing. Everybody tosses. Suddenly the mom looks at it and says, her father, "Oh my God, this is overflowing. Can I postpone it by one more day?" That question arises. Okay, tomorrow I will do. So tomorrow is the day to do laundry. So this thing is there in the back of the mind, laundry. So next morning, getting up, it has to be done. Now the question is not tomorrow when at what time of today I can do laundry. I have to take my children to some park or some project. Swimming classes are there. So in between I'll have 2 hours. That is the time I can do laundry. Okay. So at 2 o'clock after lunch I will do laundry. And once the laundry is done, then there is a sense of joy. So that joy, the children won't have that joy. Only the person who did the laundry, mother or father, will have that kind of joy. So dharma, here we put that in the category of dharma. So dharma is a very, very broad topic. We will talk about it later also. But just introduce dharma. There is dharma to the family. There is dharma to the self. There is dharma to the community. There is dharma to the nation. All that is there. So Desha Dharma is there. Our Kshatriyas, so-called Kshatriyas who are supposed to lead the country, they are committed to that Dharma, Desha Dharma. Everybody is committed, but they are specifically given the task of protecting the Dharma. So some nations struggle with that because they don't have proper leaders, proper people who are committed and practicing the Dharma. So Dharma. So I'm going to stop the discussion of Dharma there. And so we have covered 3 Purushaarthas: Artha, Kaama, Dharma. And there is a 4th Purushaartha called Moksha, which we will talk about in the next class. And we will also say in the passing that even though we talked about Dharma, Artha and Kama first and then Dharma later, Dharma is one of the most important among these 3. Because Artha and Kama are common to everybody. But Dharma requires some understanding, requires some maturity, requires a commitment to follow. And so our Shastram puts Dharma as the first Purushartham. So they say Dharma Artha Kama Moksha, they will say. They won't say Artha Kama Dharma Moksha, they won't say like that. So Dharma Artha Kama Moksha. We will continue this discussion in the next class. Okay, so was everybody able to hear me properly today?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
So I'm going to mute you all again and just a Q&A, question answers. We'll have Q&A for about 5-10 minutes. Then any concerns we can talk about. So I think there was some questions that came here. Okay. So there was a question from Katti Narahari ji. Is there any reason you started with Artha? Usually the Purushartha starts from Dharma. So that is what we said. Dharma is more important than Artha and Kama. Because Artha and Kama are natural. Nobody puts in their resume have 4 children. Nobody puts in their resume, in curriculum vitae. Nobody says, I constructed 2 houses. I am, these kinds of accomplishments in the Artha category. Nobody says that. So you have to say something that you really accomplished that are unique to you. Not common to everybody. Everybody is doing certain things. So Artha and Kaama are common, very common to everybody. But Dharma is very unique, and especially unique to human beings. And so Dharma is typically listed first. And for understanding purposes, we have taken up Artha and Kaama. So there was another question here. Okay, you can also ask the question, so you don't have to type it. So Vishnu is asking, in your example about Narendra Modi ji's seva, you mentioned it as Artha. I thought seva is Dharma. Please clarify. Okay. Correct. So initially seva can become Artha also, because one gains security by helping others. Nobody can say, I don't need security. Okay, nobody can say that. It is just that I may not be seeking the type of security, type of things everybody is seeking. I'm not running after money so much. I'm not doing things, buying and selling real estate and this and that. I may not be doing. But I also need security. Security is a must. And I may do lots of other things. And everything seems like seva, which is a great thing. If I can get security by helping others, that is the best form of security, is it not? So if I can combine dharma and security, and I can call dharma, in fact, if I find it difficult to call something as whether it is giving me artha or whether I am doing my dharma, then my life is made. All my security I get only by doing seva. Great. Best. So the so-called Brahmana, this Brahmana is supposed to protect the Vedas, is supposed to do Adhyayanam of the Vedas, is supposed to teach Vedas to everybody else, and officiate rituals, do homas, do yagas. That is the person's job. Nothing else is there. There is a small book I picked up long ago. It is called, I think, Nityanikam. So what are all the things a Brahmin should do? Brahmin means somebody who is born in a Vedic family and somebody who has been initiated into all this Upanayanam and all these things. And if you look at that, from morning to evening, there are so many things to do. So many pujas, so many rituals, and thinking of Ishvara and chanting Vedas and teaching. This is all there is. So really speaking, this Brahmin has no time to do anything else. Even reading the newspaper, this fellow won't have time. So if I really follow what the Shastram says of this Brahmin, I mean the Brahmin, then the Brahmin is following the Dharma, and that Dharma gives him security. He is secure because he knows, Arey Bhagavan हमको देखेगा, हमको पालेगा. God will पातुको एल्लाथी. God will take care of me. Like that they used to say, and even now they say that. So yes, this Modi ji is a very good example, I think, where this line between Artha and Dharma is blurred to such an extent that Dharma and Artha for Modi ji is identical. So some people are willing to give up their lives. They are not afraid. In fact, I used to wonder, these people, Subramanian Swami and Modi ji and all, they They travel and talk without any security. Means in a public speech they give, there are no this bulletproof glasses are not there. So I used to wonder. So Shakti, that Shakti is there. We are all praying for people like Modi ji. So our prayers are so important, and that protects Modi ji. So yes, Dharma and Artha there is almost indistinguishable. Any other questions? Okay, so here is a question from Panduji from Houston. Is there an order to attain moksha? Why is it mentioned last? Does it mean one has to seek the first three, namely Dharma, Artha and Kaama, and finally moksha? So that is a good question, and we will take that topic in the next class. It will come. It is part of the discussion of moksha, and just to answer simply, Artha, Kaama and Dharma are commonly understood. You don't need a lot of teaching to understand Artha, that you must be secure. You must secure yourself. There is no need to do that. Somehow, by living, we seem to learn from our parents and our caretakers. But moksha is not in that category. So that's why it is listed separately and listed last also. And there may be one or two other reasons. So we will cover that in the next class. Yeah, go ahead and unmute yourself, Sujeet. Oh, I see. Okay. So let me unmute you.
Yeah, Namaste Jayakumarji. You just talked about Brahmins being born into a Vedic background, but when Shastras talk about Brahmins, are they generally talking about people with being born into things, or with the one with Brahminical attributes, like meaning people who are more oriented towards Shastras, or who are interested in reading Shastras or things like that? So when they use Brahmins, are they, being born is it one of the things that they,
Yeah. So that's a good question. So there is your question is a person a quote unquote Brahmin if they are born in a Brahmin family,
right,
traditionally, or does the Shastra have some other definition for that?
Exactly.
Okay. So both. Answer is yes to both. So see, it is like this. Father is a doctor. Father is a cardiologist. Mother is a radiologist. What are the chances that one of their children is going to become a doctor?
Very high.
Chances are high. Chances are high. And even if the children don't become doctors, chances are high that the child is very attuned to medicine, the field of medicine. The child is attuned to the ways of thinking because it has assimilated that from the parents. So let's say this daughter has become a doctor. Let's say that, and so for her it is so natural to be a doctor because wearing this and cutting, doing surgeries and this and that, heart, all this is so natural to her. But for somebody like me, somebody invited us in Houston. I remember once, some 15 years ago, our friends, in fact Hemaji, they got an invitation from somebody to see a heart surgery in the heart in Houston is known for, you know, heart heart medicine. Houston Medical Center, many things. And this, what is this name? I forget the doctor's name. He invented this artificial heart, I think. So they got an invitation. So she asked me, Jaykumarji, do you want to also come? What? Come for what? To see a heart surgery. I didn't know whether to say yes or no. This you don't expect to get this kind of a request. I said, okay, I'll come. And we all went. We all went to this hospital, and they told us to go here, there. They directed us, and we went all the way to the top. Top of this surgery room, and it's a big dome, glass dome, transparent glass dome is there, and say, okay, now you can look. And I look down, and there are two patients, and one patient is just lying down with no response. Other patient, the chest is cut. The chest is cut. There's a big hole there. 3-inch by 3-inch hole is there. And the blood is coming out, and tubes are going in and out. And there's nobody there next to the patient. And that's it. And I wondered, what is all this? And so like this, I can become, the story is big, but the point is, I can be scared of looking at blood also. Whereas this daughter of the doctor is not, for her it's all natural, surgery and all these things, so she becomes a doctor. So there you look at it, the children of the parents take on the attributes of the parents. So therefore, we call somebody a Brahmin who is born to so-called Brahmins who have been practicing, who are protecting the Vedas, who are given to the life of Brahminhood, let's say. But that is only a starting point. Just like anybody can become a doctor, not just children of doctors. Like that, Shastram changes the definition of Brahmin and says they have many definitions. And we will cover it someday, perhaps. And Brahma Janati iti Brahmana. One who knows Brahma is Brahmana. Means one who knows the Tattvam, one who knows the truth of what the Vedas are talking about is a Brahmana. Everybody else is a Brahmana. So the Shastra is not too worried about this boy or girl born into a Brahmin family. The Shastra, especially Vedanta, is being addressed to everybody. Because at some point we will talk about what are the attributes of a person who will study Vedanta or who is capable of studying Vedanta. So when we say that, we don't judge people. We are saying, just like which person is capable of going to college, if you ask. Answer is pretty simple. Anybody who has finished high school. That is the qualification of the person who has to go to college. Doesn't mean one who has not gone to high school cannot go to college. But that's the general qualification. So, short answer to your question, Sanjeev, is Brahmana has many definitions in Shastram. And this is a Jati Brahmana, which is needed. Immediately, what is available to me, I get a responsibility. It's actually a responsibility. Kshatriyatvam is a responsibility. Without Kshatriyatvam, the country cannot be governed. You need people who can stand on the border and protect the people. That requires a separate make. And Vaishya, commerce, everybody cannot do commerce. There are people who understand the movement of goods, production of goods, buying and selling of goods. They are the only ones who take care of the commerce in any country. So, therefore, such people are respected and given that responsibility, and they can grow in in that in that in that varna. Sanskrit, the word is varna. So we'll talk more about that when the time comes.
Okay. Thank you, Jayakumar. Thank you.
Sundarji is asking a question. Uh, yeah, I'll do one thing. Rather than me reading it, why don't I unmute you?
I was listening to Swami Paramatmananda's speech on Sandhya Vandanam. He starts the speech with this. He says, Janmane jayate shudra, Samskrita dvija uchyate, Veda patnat bhavate vipraha, Brahmana janati iti brahmanaha. He talks very nice in the Sandhya Vandanam Bhashyam. He does the first speech itself. He says, just because you are doing Sandhya Vandanam doesn't mean you are a Brahmin. He says, this is what, when you are born, you are all Shudras. Then you learn, you come to the higher caste. Then once you learn your Brahman, then you become a Brahmana. That's what he says. It's a beautiful speech on that Sandhya Vandanam. If anybody wants to listen, you can listen to that. It is available on the net. So.
Yeah, so I have muted you.
Thank you.
Thanks for that, bringing that up. Yes, I have listened to that series of talks. And Janmana jayate shudra. So look at this powerful verse. Janmana jayate shudra means by birth everybody is a shudra. What is the meaning of that? Shudra means what we have to understand. Shudra means, according to the Shastram, one who has tamasic qualities. Tamas qualities means what? Lethargy, inability to think, and laziness, and no motivation to do anything. That is called tamas. So Janmana jayate shudra means, of course, when we are born, this child is, what is this child capable of? Literally nothing. Even drinking milk, this child has to be taught how to drink milk sometimes. It takes some time. Some children quickly get it. Some children, the mother struggles. And so, Janmana jayate Shudraha. And for months and years, it's a Shudra only. Because it is only consuming. Me, myself. Shudra. Okay? And Janmana jayate Shudraha. Vipraha. Dvija uchyate. What is it? Next, Janmana jayate Shudraha. Dvija. Next is Dvija. So, Karmana Dvija uchyate. So, by this initiation into Veda Karma, whatever be that initiation, it can be this Upanayanam, where they get the sacred thread. Then he becomes a Dvija. Means now he is born again, so to speak. This so-called born again concept comes from Sanatana Dharma only. Even though there are a lot of born agains who are bothering us. Born again to study the Vedas and protect the Vedas. Then Veda Pathena Viprasyat. Veda Pathena. So now this fellow has to study the Vedas. Studying the Vedas is not simply easy. You take a book, a novel, and simply read it. You have to go to a Patashala and go to a proper teacher and study. They say 12 years for one Veda. 12 years for one Veda. And then that person is called Vipraha. This stotra says that. Veda Pathena Viprasya. Then what? Yes, then there is more. Brahmano Brahma Vedanat. Brahmano Brahma Vedanat. Brahma Vedana. This person has to understand what Brahma is. That the Shastram is talking about. It is not enough if you keep repeating the Vedas from morning to evening. You have to go beyond that. You have to move from a Vipra to a Brahmana. So good point. We don't have to elaborate this now. We will talk about it later. But thanks for the reminder, Sundar. So yeah, Saji, there is another definition of Brahmana, which is the same definition we talked about.
Very good. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Dharma changes with the time and place.
So Venkateshan ji, I think you just now I unmuted you. Go ahead.
Dharma changes with the time and place. Is it allowed? For example, what Bhishma did in Mahabharata.
Yeah. Yeah. So good. Good
And
question.
what in the name of religion, the conversions are taking place. As far as he is concerned, he is doing his dharma because his guru has told you have spread the religion. But
Yeah.
for others, it is not a dharma. It is not a dharma.
Yeah. So I have muted you. I think the question is understood. Thank you. So we will cover the topic of dharma later also. So yes, dharma has to be interpreted. Dharma is not absolute. Okay, not absolute. What is the meaning of that? You can't categorically say something is right. Categorically, you can't say something is right. You can't say eating sugar, consuming sugar is not good for you. You can't say that. Because there are some people who are always low in sugar. And they have to have some calorie, sugar intake. You can't categorically say salt intake has to be eliminated or reduced. Because some people have low BP. And some salt is needed for them. So dharma, even there you look at dharma, interpreted. Even in our relationships with people, dharma is always interpreted. Categorically. It has to be, you can't say categorically. Doctor advises based on the person. There is no absolute advice the doctor gives. Some things are there, general advice is there, but there is no absolute advice. So dharma is categorical, and what is dharma at one time need not be dharma at another time. The parent's job is to be with the infant, with the child, 24 hours. Can't simply leave the baby and parents decide to go watch a movie. Nobody hears about that. Dharma is to be at home. But the same parents can leave home, leaving the child at home. So dharma is changing. Dharma is always interpreted. It is based on context. Based on context. It's a very big topic. We will cover it again another time. Okay, so we will stop now. It's about 7:25 here in India. Any other questions? Yeah, please. You don't have to type it out. If you want to type it while you are during the class, it's fine. Otherwise, might as well speak it up so everybody can hear it. Okay. So I will finish with the prarthana and then I will unmute everybody. Om Swasti Prajabhyah Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahisha Gobrahmanebhyah Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyah Prithvi Sasya Shalini Deshoyam Shobharahitah Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaah Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhaved Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityor Ma Amritangamaya Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om